The San Antonio Spurs have had their bumps and bruises, but not like Lenny Wilkins' Cleveland Cavaliers. While guard Mark Price still sits, John Williams is back to team with All-Stars Larry Nance and Brad Daugherty. Nance has always been a Spurs nemesis, while Daugherty has just begun to display his awesome talent. Tonight on HSE, David Robinson and company host the Cavaliers in a game they hope will not come down to a last-minute shot in the dark. Tonight's San Antonio Spurs game brought to you in part by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of loving you. By Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. And by Pizza Hut. Make a change for the better, change for the good. Call Pizza Hut Delivery now for fast, hot, delicious pizza. Live from the Hemisphere Arena, Home Sports Entertainment presents San Antonio Spurs basketball. Tonight, the Spurs play host to Brad Daugherty and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But the thoughts of everyone who loves pro basketball are still on Magic Johnson. Following yesterday's stunning announcement from Los Angeles, a sad ending to the career of Magic Johnson, who now faces, without a doubt, the challenge of his life.
People look at him as immoral. And everybody say that it can't happen to me. It can't happen to me. And here's it happened to one of the greatest basketball players, greatest athletes, the greatest person in the whole world. And, you know, we're not invincible at all. You know, you could be living on top of the world one day and it can all be taken away from you. And I hate to use that as a Magic Johnson example, but it's sad.
Sidney Green sums it up very eloquently. We wouldn't even begin to pretend that this is business as usual, because all around the NBA, clearly it is not. After yesterday's announcement, this won't be the same game. That's the clearest you can put it in terms of a basketball sense, the reaction to Magic Johnson's retirement and what he now faces. Kobe, as a guy who competed against Magic's teams, your reaction to what it meant to basketball and what it means to the NBA player to have what happened to Magic happen?
Well, Magic is an uncommon man even amongst his peers. He can do things that no one else can do. He's a hero to millions of fans and basketball players as well, because of the talent and the success and the joy that he brought to the game. Now, as a hero, you have to suffer along with the problem that he's facing, but ultimately he may be more of a hero now than he ever was as a basketball player.
We'll hear some more reaction from Sidney Green, also Larry Brown at halftime. In the meantime, there is a basketball game to be played, and it should be a pretty good one. The Spurs, with an early season barometer, coming back from disaster in Denver to pound the Portland Trailblazers by 26 points, and the individual who embodied that turnaround had to be Sean Elliott.
I think he's the main man right now offensively for the Spurs, and I think all of the Spurs need to start to begin to recognize that. There was a little meeting about how many shots he got in the Denver game where they lost, and I think Sean was upset about the turnovers that ultimately led to that loss, but the ball seemed to end up in Sean Elliott's hands against Portland, and he made it happen.
And tonight we expect the story to be told of this game on the front line.
Well, Cleveland's got a lot of talent and a lot of size along the front line. They've tried two different lineups since the season started. Hot Rod Williams is healthy, tremendous talent. They started with him at small forward. Now they're moving him off the bench and bringing him in at center. The big question mark is the three other small forwards that they're trying to figure out who can do the best job over the long run. But a very talented team on paper.
Right now, let's go to center court. Spurs forward Terry Cummings will address the crowd on yesterday's news regarding Earvin Magic Johnson.
What I wanted to say today has to do with the Magic Johnson situation. On behalf of myself and the players and the leadership and ownership of the Spurs, I think what's most important is that we understand it's not a Magic Johnson problem, but it's a people problem, and all of us need to become more aware of it. And I think in the process of what's happened to Magic Johnson, all of us will become much more aware, and we will become much more aware together. So what I would like to do, instead of taking a moment of silence, I would like to pray, and I would like for you all to pray with me so that we can find a solution to this problem together. I think with the Magic Johnson situation, it's made us all much more aware, not just athletes, but people in general. We've always considered common people to have a lot of things happen to us, but one of the things we found is that all of us are common people. So if you would, with me but for a moment, would you bow your heads? Father, I'd like to pray and encourage Magic and his wife and the child that she's bearing, praying that you would keep them, Lord, that you would encourage his heart, and that you would cause your glory to be found in the midst of all this thing, that you would be glorified to the utmost and to the highest. In Christ's name, amen. Thank you.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Bob Pullum was wrong, because when a crate of lobsters fell from the sky, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team dropped by, it got a little better. And when an old Milwaukee truck showed up, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
You can do it with True Value.
The experts agree. Great tasting cookies are baked on air. The Miro Air Bake insulated cookie sheet from True Value hardware stores. It has an insulating layer of air, so it browns perfectly without burning. In November, get the Miro Air Bake insulated cookie sheet. Just $7.88 while supplies last at your local True Value, the neighborhood hardware store with national chain store buying power.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sports Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
In a stringent 10,000-mile test, an independent automotive testing lab found that all 3 grades of Diamond Shamrock gasoline actually reduce deposits on fuel injectors and prevent deposits on intake valves. In other words, we passed with flying colors. Diamond Shamrock.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Long John Silver's, where you can get your choice of batter dipped, lightly breaded, or baked fish at a great price. Go fish with Long John Silver's.
Back again at Hemisphere Arena, Dave Barnett along with Kobe Dietrich and the Spurs and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the first of their 2 regular season meetings. Here's a guy who can't win for losing. Last year, Lenny Wilkins' Cavaliers lost 241 player games to injury and illness. Mark Price, of course, the killer injury with 66 games lost after knee surgery, and he continues to rehabilitate. And as if that weren't bad enough, the schedule maker did this team no favors. They're on the road for the first 5 games of their season because the circus has come and just won't leave the Richfield Coliseum. So they open in Portland with a loss. They go the very next night to the LA Sports Arena and lose by 1 to the Clippers. They did manage a win at Dallas. Last night they lost at Houston 105-86. And they trudge into San Antonio tonight to finally end this 5-game season opening road trip. They will go home, and their home opener will be the latest in the NBA on November 12th against the Milwaukee Bucks. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of loving you. The Cavaliers with a front line of Nance, Winston Bennett, and Doherty. Cummings, Elliott, and Robinson for the Spurs. Craig Ehlo and Terrell Brandon, the #1 pick out of Oregon, who has gotten rave reviews in his first 4 games as an NBA starting point guard against Willie Anderson, who is an assist leader in the NBA. He's had a great start dealing in this passing offense. And Avery Johnson will again get the start at the point. What Terry Cummings and Sidney Green didn't say, that sign did. Really summarizes the somewhat subdued feeling in the arena prior to tonight's game. Tonight's tip of the game brought to you by True Value Hardware Stores. Save your palms from blistering when using a screwdriver by holding a plastic top from a spray paint can over the handle of the screwdriver to prevent twisting pressure on your palm. To make the job easier, rely on a Master Mechanic high-speed cordless screwdriver from True Value Hardware Stores. This handy household tip brought to you by True Value Hardware. If he can do half what he did the other night, the Spurs should stand well against the Cavaliers. A season-high 28 points against Portland for Sean Elliott, who took over that game with a couple of three-pointers early in the fourth quarter. Ehlo will chase down the tap Cavalier ball. Here comes Brandon, little 5'11 speedster, the 11th pick in the draft. To Bennett, who throws it off Robinson. And Brandon, a perfect size-wise at least matchup for Avery Johnson at the point. Hits the cutter, Ehlo. Robinson made a miss and starts the break to A.J. And 4-on-3, the trailer, Sean Elliott underneath Willie Anderson, 2-0.
We talk about transition game for the Spurs. That's a good example of transition game right there, where the ball gets into the middle of the court. You got guys spreading and finding the guy in a 5-on-4 situation.
At time, Ehlo coaxes one down, and we're tied at 2. Bennett in the matchup with Elliott. The Cavaliers just can't decide who their small forward is going to be. Underneath, it's Cummings, and contact. He's sandwiched between Bennett and Nance. The foul will go on Nance. And let's check our Western Conference standings, brought to you by America's Place to Go Fish. Go Fish at Long John Silver's. What a start by the Warriors. And they've been on the road. They've had some wins in tough places like Chicago. Spurs a game behind.
Well, the dilemma for Lenny Wilkins has been on that small forward position. He's got Winston Bennett as the defensive ace of the trio of guys that have played that position. Chucky Brown is a much better in a running situation than, and from San Antonio, Henry James seems to be the real offensive force. If they can't get all of those qualities into the same guy.
A little bit like the Spurs point guard position. They're going with a three-headed look, and so far, so good.
Come on, Will.
Elliott to the high post where Cummings knocks it through, and it's 5-2 Spurs. Very quickly, Lenny Wilkins up for a 20-second timeout. Got to figure he'll keep his team on a very short leash after a 1-3 start, and after really losing that game in Houston in the first half. It got away early in the second quarter, and the Cavaliers not much of a run in the second half.
Well, as the guard play goes, Craig Ehlo plays more like a forward, and they're really relying on Terrell Brandon with very little NBA experience to make all the decisions on the court, which is asking a lot, although this is a real talented kid.
Boy, they like him, though. 5'11", 180. Your old sparring partner, Jim Jones, compares him to a James Silas with better leaping ability. Wow, that's high praise.
Scary thought.
Doherty, the quintessential high post center, at a high post even by his standards. Now they isolate Nance for the fall away, and he had Terry Cummings right in his face, but he bangs it in, and it's 5-4. So Cummings will make Nance work on the defensive end. Elliott, nice dish, great finish by Robinson. That low post can tend to get crowded, and a lot of bodies down there, but boy, what a job of spotting the Admiral by Sean Elliott.
Well, if Sean can get himself going towards the basket, getting past his man, it makes Doherty or Larry Nance pick him up, and that frees up David and Terry Cummings.
Shot clock at 4. Up fake, Nance all the way. Rejection, Robinson. Larry Nance won't have happened to him more than 3 or 4 times all year long. At the other end, the Spurs throw it away, each team with the turnover. Larry Nance used to doing this, not having it done to him. Ehlo, outstanding from three-point range, takes the 2, and it's 7-6.
Well, keep your eye on Craig Ehlo. As complete a basketball player as you'll ever see. He does lots of things very, very well.
A.J. into traffic is stripped by Brandon. And ahead, there's Ehlo, and there's Robinson again. Extremely active, aggressive David Robinson, and he'll draw the foul, slapping it out of the hands of Doherty.
And here's a good example of David stopping the ball, still getting back to make the defensive play. Makes both plays in the same on the same offensive attempt.
2 blocks in the first 3 minutes for the Robinson. Doherty last year, first 2010 player in Cavaliers history. He is also the first 3-time All-Star in Cavaliers history. He and David squared off in the All-Star game. Carrying the ball is Johnson, and a rough start for A.J. tonight with 2 of the Spurs' 3 turnovers. Doherty beats the double team. Quick shot won't go. Elliott, who had a season-high 7 boards to go with the season-high 28 points against the Blazers. Cutter, Cummings. And that by Winston Bennett. One of the better blocks you'll see against TC. There's Brandon in the open court. 8-7. Cavaliers get their first lead. Robinson maneuvering on Nance, and Nance and Bennett converging. Here comes Ehlo. And a great defensive play by Willie Anderson. We've had more outstanding individual defensive plays in the first 4 minutes of this game than we've seen in some entire games.
Well, here's Ehlo with a long outlet pass, and you're going back down the court. You want to keep your eye on the ball. And Willie Hickens had his head up and knocked that one out of bounds.
Inbounds pass too tall for Ehlo to handle. Second Cavalier turnover.
We talked about Sean Elliott and his offense in the open, and what you want to watch is that as the Spurs come down, and if Elliott's the guy that gets the ball back initially in the offense, often the ball never gets back to him because he doesn't take that initial shot. He knows enough to have the offense move, but he doesn't get the ball passed back to him.
Robinson foiled that attempt by Nance. Brandon with 4. Pac-10 Player of the Year as a junior, and he came out after his junior year. This is 6 unanswered points by Cleveland. They go up by 3. Elliott with the air ball, but extenuating circumstances, he was fouled by Nance. That'll be 2 on Larry Nance.
Number 22, Larry Nance is second.
Here's Elliott back picking for Willie, trying to create a switch. David setting a pick for him, and as he gets the ball, he knows now it's the time to attack the basket. He just splits the defenders and draws the foul.
Sean yet to take a shot, but he has 3 assists. So it was scoring and rebounding the other night. Assists here early. And our first look at John Hot Rod Williams after the early foul trouble puts Nance on the bench. Very consistent. And he thinks he can be the Spurs' 3-point threat this year. He ought to at this point. He hasn't missed. 3 for 3 against Portland, 4 for 4 for the year. That leads the NBA. Can you believe that? A Spur leads the NBA in 3-point shooting. Bennett with the quick shot. Robinson and Doherty spar underneath and out of bounds off Brad Doherty. As the Spurs call time, 6:55 in the first quarter. Boy, you're really seeing some NBA defense on display here.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place. If you know anything about this game, you know that some things never change. But if you know about getting great pizza delivered, you know that nobody stands up to Pizza Hut delivery. The difference is the pizza.
Right now, try the new Pepperoni Plus Pizza from Pizza Hut with mountains of pepperoni and one more of your favorite toppings, one large for just $9.99 to get a second for just $6 more.
Making it great.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Your
Plymouth Laser RS Turbo.
You can talk.
That's not all. 0 to 66.3. You like all-wheel drive?
Well, beautiful.
Don't try this at home.
No.
Plymouth Laser, an intelligent machine.
Can we go for a spin?
Sure.
Let's look at our NBA leaders, brought to you by Amalie Oil. Better than it has to be. Here are the final numbers for Magic Johnson, the NBA's all-time assist leader, surpassing Oscar Robertson last year, second all-time in steals to Maurice Cheeks, 36th all-time in points. But there's one number he treasures above all those, and that is 5 NBA championships. On the alley-oop, set play works to perfection, and the Spurs regain the lead.
But Brad Daugherty just way too soft to let David Robinson get behind him. Craig Ehlo was standing there and was just helpless at playing at that height, that level.
And again, Robinson makes Ehlo miss in deep. Daugherty for the tap. And on his back is Willie Anderson. Looks like he might have gotten an elbow or a finger to the face. And actually, I think it's friendly fire here. Looks like David Robinson inadvertently putting Willie on the deck. See if we can pick it up here.
Section 328 presented by Willie Anderson and Hilton Square. We'll bring 24 local young people to each and every Spurs home.
Right to the left eye by David Robinson.
What you also see in that replay is the value of having somebody going at the basket. David Robinson comes over to help. Even though the shot is missed, there's Brad Daugherty to tip it in because David had to help defensively.
3 of those 6 misses by the Cavaliers, forced misses because of the defense of Robinson. And Tom Garrett will be in the same backcourt with Avery Johnson. Normally they're switching back and forth at the point, but Garrett gets to play shooting guard where he played at Rhode Island. Elliott's misboarded by Bennett. And Hot Rod Williams hits with Terry Cummings in his face. Williams, who missed 37 games last year with a sprained foot, just wouldn't heal. Spurs clear it out for TC, who answered. 5 for Cummings. Had a great series against this Cleveland team a year ago. 19.5 points in the 2 meetings, 12 rebounds per game. Robinson out on the perimeter to challenge Daugherty. Loose ball foul against Cleveland. And it is on Daugherty, his first, team's third. Johnson replaced by Greg Sutton. And Avery with the same malady in the other eye. Willie got poked in his left eye. Avery got poked in his right eye.
Got John Anderson busy over there on the Spurs bench.
What a grab by Sean Elliott. It's the best of Kirby Puckett. And Robinson following his own miss, not quite, a little too far underneath. Cleveland by 1, 14-13. We have 5:10 to go first quarter. Big time defense on display tonight. Daugherty with 4.
Wait, David, you see David Robinson trying to go for that pass rather than staying behind Daugherty. That's a good example of the bad things that can happen if Daugherty gets the ball.
And Robinson absolutely relentless on both ends. He follows the miss by Elliott here to get the Spurs back within 1.
Once again, Sean Elliott goes to the basket. Daugherty has to help. David Robinson gets the follow.
DC giving Louis Griot a good-natured hard time because his deflection went right off Griot. And then out of bounds. We saw Sidney Green check into the game, and a well-deserved break for David Robinson. Steve Kerr, another three-point specialist. They've got a bunch for the Cavaliers. He's in, and he's picked up by Garrett. That's the shot clock. 4:25 of the first quarter. Doherty with 2, barely in time over Sidney Green. And important for Green to really muscle up on Doherty right now with Robinson out of the game.
Brad Doherty's got a lot of offensive ability. When he can get the ball in there reasonable distance to the basket, he's got the jump shot or he's got the hook into the middle. You got to battle him out just a little bit farther.
Shot clock at 5. Garrett comes up short, and Elliott keeps it alive. Green with a response to the bucket by Doherty.
Good ball movement by the Spurs, moving the ball to the weak side, and Sidney Green doing what he does best with that jump shot.
18-17 Cleveland. Williams knocked away, knocked out of bounds, and it touched Elliott's foot, says Tommy Nunez. Cavalier ball, Antoine Carr into the game, and the fans already really warming to him. Replaces Cummings in just 4 games. These fans have seen exactly how he can jumpstart an offense off the bench. It is Brandon. Sutton trying to push it up. Brandon from behind. Sutton never knew where he was. Cavaliers clear it out for Doherty, and he commits the offensive foul. Green holds his ground. Doherty called for an elbow, and now he and Nance each with 2.
Brad Doherty he's using his body, tries to move Sid Green out right here just with size. Most of the time you get away with that play.
I was just going to say. Well, Doherty's still in the game. In more ways than one. Brandon stripped from behind by Garrick. He went out of bounds. But Terrell Brandon gets a bit of his own medicine as Derrick sneaks up on him. 2:50 in the first quarter. Cavaliers by 1.
There was no problem with the insurance, but when the car came out of the shop, I told Joe here that it just didn't look right.
You see, that's where Nationwide's Blue Ribbon Claim Guarantee kicks in.
I gotta say, Nationwide really went to bat for me. It got fixed.
Satisfaction guaranteed in writing.
Joe was right. That makes a big difference.
One heck of a difference.
Nationwide is on your side.
Call Kevin McLaughlin at 821-6660 or come by his office in Lincoln Heights.
Imagine you are a dinosaur. And you're standing around one day talking to your friend, the woolly mammoth, and you say, hey, it's getting awful cold around here. And the woolly mammoth says, yeah, maybe we should have some blankets sent in from the hills. Let me borrow your phone. So you reach into your pocket, and then you think, hey, I'm a dinosaur. I don't have a cellular phone. Maybe I'll just go over here and lie in the mud until this cold snap passes. Man, it's cold.
NBA hoops, these guys are cooling off a hardwood, styling and slamming, just like we wish we all could, clocking the poles. To them, you're just a witness, busting the move, yeah, taking care of business. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. NBA hoops, they're fresh, they're full. From the cities to your hood, this card is preferred. Everybody's doing it. Hoops is the word. Jamming. Yo, take it from me, this is one Def Jam, official.
2:50 in the first quarter at Hemisphere Arena. It's 18-17 Cleveland.
And a reminder, all beer sales will end at the 7-minute mark.
Travel arranged through Continental, which is proudly taking off this winter for Madrid. Beginning February 15th, Continental to Spain. One airline can make a difference.
Cavalier ball following the timeout. Danny Ferry in for the first time as Doherty sits after his second personal. Ferry, the center, opposite Sidney Green, two natural forwards. Carr up tight on Williams. As Bennett tries to deal on Sean Elliott. Not enough off the glass, and a push-off, and the Cavaliers drawn their fair share of loose ball fouls here in the first quarter. Fourth against the team. Antoine Carr with a tribute to Magic Johnson in his own way, acknowledging what Magic has meant to him and really everybody in the NBA. Would not be surprising if he wore that the rest of the year. Sutton misses a three. Bennett and Green in the scramble, and another foul on Bennett, and everyone on the starting Cavalier front line now with 2 fouls. So out he goes, and back in at the small forward spot now after starting it off guard is Craig Ehlo. But Kobe said, as complete a player as he is, that's pretty easy transition for him.
He can just about fit in. He could play on any team in the NBA. He does everything well. He's inside and outside, smart player. He's got a great outside game, great inside game, sets picks, helps out on defense. He just can do it all.
And as Bill Fitch said when he was his coach in Houston, looks great in the lobby. In fact, that's why he kept him as his 12th man. And he had no idea that he had on his hands exactly what he had in Ehlo. Brandon, wow, what a reversal by Terrell Brandon.
Boy, you can see the body control on Terrell Brandon. Everything he's done so far hasn't been too quick. He's been under control.
Good ball movement by the Spurs. Willie Anderson's eye is okay. He's back in, and Sutton misfires. There's Carr. They'll get him for a push-off.
Difficult call for Antoine Carr. That call was made from half court. The official was behind Antoine, so he just assumed that there was a push there. Unfortunate. Now we got Danny Ferry on the court now, the heralded rookie from Cleveland. Last year, apparently he started very slowly this year and has lost even, comes in as the second or third substitute off the bench. But they've got him playing at big forward right now.
Steve Kerr, just a 39% shooter, but the all-time leader in NBA three-point percentage. 49% in his career. Green sneaking inside. That's goaltending on Williams. And Sidney Green, who against Portland had his season high of 8 points, 6 already here in the first quarter.
Double team, a good reaction as Sidney rolls away from the double team and takes the ball into the basket.
Hot Rod Williams well short of the mark, and Carr wins the battle. Out it goes, 2-on-1. Anderson inside of Kerr. And the Spurs go back on top by 1. Brandon for the long 2. I'm thinking when Mr. Price comes back, he may have a little battle to win his job back.
Mark Price is a heck of a player, but we see Antoine Carr put up the outside shot, but Terrell Brandon just seems to be he doesn't look like a rookie at all. Great control with what he wants to do.
Cavaliers go to a lot of clear-outs, and the Spurs respond by double-teaming Williams, and he turns it over. 8 seconds in the quarter. There's Sutton. No calls on some contact that ends up in Garrick's hand, and the tap finally by Anderson in the nick of time. Larry Brown out for a hog and a slap for Tom Garrick. Sheer effort keeping that final possession of the first quarter alive. Lead changes in the first 12 minutes. The Spurs by 3.
ESPN and Paragon Cable take the excitement of the NFL into overtime. After ESPN's regular Sunday night NFL season, you could be our lucky winner with your guest at the Honolulu Pro Bowl. It's a vacation for 2 on February 2nd. Additional prizes are NFL game tickets and gifts. Enter to win today.
Register to win a trip to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii at Gorinsky's Jewelers, the largest independent jeweler in South Texas. 4 San Antonio Mall locations to serve you.
Gilman Mitsubishi. The word is getting around, and customer satisfaction is the reason.
With the service that I've gotten on this car,
I will definitely go back to Gilman Mitsubishi.
I live about 20 miles away from Gilman Mitsubishi, but I feel that it's definitely worth the drive there for the service.
We will always be Mitsubishi car owners, and we will always go and only go to Gilman Mitsubishi.
Gilman Mitsubishi, I-35 North to the Selma Shirts exit.
Attention Spurs fans. Pizza Hut is making it easy for you to be a Spurs ball boy or ball girl. If you're between the ages of 5 and 12, simply stop by any Pizza Hut restaurant to enter the contest. Pizza Hut will give you 4 tickets to a selected Spurs home game, then give you the chance of a lifetime. You will be introduced along with the Spurs starting lineup, and then sit courtside and watch Spurs basketball from the best seat in the house.
You're watching all the excitement of Spurs basketball. Get the advantage and the advertising power of Paragon. KBL TV, San Antonio.
Well, these guys really canceled each other out in the first quarter. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Southwest Airlines, celebrating 20 years of loving you. Identical numbers for the centers in the first quarter. The Cavaliers outshoot the Spurs, but an 8-2 San Antonio run puts them up 27-24 to start the second quarter. And Antoine Carr and Sidney Green right back to work. And the foul will go on Ferry. Toby, the Cavaliers out shooting the Spurs, but the Spurs out fighting the Cavs, and that's led to their early foul difficulty.
Oh, Danny Ferry just didn't get Sid Green boxed out there. And Sidney came up with the offensive rebound. He was hustling on the play, and Danny Ferry ended up having to foul him.
Here's a key early number, 6-2 Spurs on the offensive glass. And traveling to turn it right back over. 6 each by Robinson and Anderson and Green in the first quarter. 5 by Cummings. Elliott and Carr had 2. Brandon leads all scorers with 8. And he opens this period on the bench. Ehlo back to guard. Kerr at the point. Steve Kerr with 4 off the bench. Sean Elliott's former collegiate teammate. Anderson from Sutton. Still looking for our first points of the second quarter with a minute gone. Nance returns. He had 2 quick fouls. Ehlo in bad luck on the baseline.
Well, the Spurs really got away with Willie Anderson trying to guard Nance right there.
Garrick threw up a challenge to Nance that time. Took it in. Knew Nance wouldn't try to pick up his 3rd foul, but his mere presence made Garrick go too far underneath, and he missed.
That's just a tough matchup for Willie Anderson, trying to guard an all-star 6'11" power forward in Larry Nance.
Bob Rod Williams brings him within 1.
Larry's decided to make an adjustment, bring back in both Sean and David Robinson.
Carr with the wild shot, but I think he thought he'd been fouled and might get the continuation. Very way short, really struggling. 29% from the field in their first 4 games. Greg Sutton on the move, his first 2. We focus on Carr and his bench production. Greg Sutton, 2 of his first 4 games, has double figures off the bench. And our 10th lead change. You could hear the slap, I'm sure, in your living room. Willie Anderson committing his first foul against Larry Nance. Back in, Robinson and Elliott. Back out, Green and Garrett. Also out is Sutton, and Avery Johnson returns.
I think the Spurs are all trying to decide who's going to match up against who. I would think David Robinson will probably take Hot Rod Williams.
That number you saw for Nance, even better this year, 62% from the field. And we are tied at 29.
There you see the versatility of Larry Nance. He's out there on the floor guarding Sean Elliott.
Ferry against Johnson. Not the matchup either expected. Robinson from 15. The similarity between these two teams, well-coached, defensive-oriented, and they have players who can play multiple positions.
They really do. I think the real difference just in terms of structure is that the Cleveland team is mostly a pattern club. They come down and they set back picks and try to swing the ball and create different defensive situations out of a patterned offense. The Spurs will run a play as they are right now, but they'll also come down and go freelance, complete passing game.
And Willie Anderson on the reverse answers Nance and puts the Spurs back up by 2. The Cleveland team that came in here 3 years ago on their way to 57 wins, about as good a defensive team as has played in this building in the Larry Brown era. They just took everything you wanted to do away. Goaltending on Carr counted for Nance, and he has 7.
Well, this team's got a lot of potential. We get a second look at Larry Nance with the little left-handed shot that Antoine Carr throws back towards half court.
A lot of potential. They thought that 57-game winner would eventually become the heir apparent to Detroit in the East, and injuries have caused that dream to shatter the last 2 years.
Here we go with Craig Ehlo with a defensive rebound. Now brings the ball down and plays point guard.
Ehlo can play 3 spots. So can Ferry. All 3 up front positions. Don't count it. Contact prior to the shot. And here's a battle of 2 of the top 3 picks in the '89 draft. Ferry went 1 spot before Sean Elliott.
Good example of that ninja defense by Sean Elliott. He's trying to keep the ball from getting into Ferry. Now he's got him out there on the court. He's trying to keep him from penetrating.
Nance on the cut. Great feed by Ehlo, and Larry Nance taking over with 7 quick second quarter points. Cavaliers by 2. How ironic that lottery day as Williams fouls Robinson. When the NBA lottery was held in May of '89, the fans were very disappointed that the Spurs didn't get a chance to pick Ferry. They selected 3rd instead of 2nd. Ferry was the man they all focused on, including Red McCombs. And do you think anybody would trade Sean Elliott for Ferry today? For the first pick, Purvis Ellison? I don't think so.
Not at all. But I thought Danny Ferry played very well last year in spots. He played an excellent game in Cleveland against the Spurs and went into overtime where he got into it, little fisticuffs with Terry Cummings, and responded extremely well. Had a big second half and got him into overtime.
That was his 2nd best game of the year. 18 points in that game. Nance can do it from outside, but not here. Cummings returns. Spurs can tie it 7-10 in the first half. Elliott goes baseline, and Nance and Ferry had him sandwiched.
Sean would have waited until Terry Cummings cleared out. I think he wouldn't have run into the traffic. He ran in right into Terry Cummings' defender.
Well, a nice soft touch on the jump hook for Hot Rod Williams, and the Cavaliers go up by 4. That is their biggest lead.
That kind of thing is how timing plays a part in the passing game, is you have to recognize who is where on the court at any given time.
This time, Elliott beats the double team, and that's his first field goal. He starts this game 1 for 5 after hitting 9 of 11 against Portland. To the deck. A.J. fouling Steve Kerr. 3rd against the team. Johnson picked up his first foul. Brown thought it was good hustle. And we'll take a break.
Ever since Southwest Airlines extended our Friends Fly Free sale, people have gotten friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you free all the way through February.
Hey, Dad, seen the head trimmer?
And now you can buy tickets till January 15th.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year. Oh, buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free sale. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sports Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Here's a handy new angle on fastening. The Master Mechanic 10-piece Flexibit kit for your cordless screwdriver from True Value hardware stores. It reaches tight spots with 2 Phillips and 2 slotted bits, plus 4 nut setters. Get the Master Mechanic 10-piece Flexibit kit, just $7.29 while supplies last, during November at your local True Value, the neighborhood hardware store with national chain store buying power.
Tickets now available to America's newest and most exciting sport, arena football. And San Antonio has its own team, the Force. To become a San Antonio Force charter season ticket holder, call 554-FORCE, 554-3672, and experience the 50-yard indoor war. This is a 94-foot indoor war tonight. Some serious banging on both defensive ends, and the Cavaliers lead by 2 and have the ball.
Great pressure on the ball tonight, which for a pattern team, it's difficult to it's difficult to move the ball because you're putting a lot of pressure individually. It really slows up and takes the rhythm out of their offense.
Cavaliers try to stop the Spurs from running by trapping the rebounder. They still get it out in a hurry to Willie Anderson, who was taking up the scoring slack tonight. He hasn't been much of a point producer early. He's looked for assists tonight. 10 points and no assists for Willie.
Well, that old transition game that we talk about, that really helps Willie Anderson's game. It's 3 times now he's gotten the ball in the flow and was able to finish.
Louis Grillo at midcourt sees Terry Cummings throw an elbow underneath. His first foul. Back in is Doherty. Back out is Ferry. And we've got our third player poked in the eye tonight. This time it's Robinson poking Doherty. It happened first to Willie Anderson, and it has become an epidemic. Then it was Avery Johnson, and now Doherty. All, of course, inadvertent.
Well, that's just what I was talking about, is pressure on the ball and inadvertent poke in the eye there.
This turns into a full Cleveland timeout in a tie game.
Miller Lite goes to millions of parties a year.
These guys want to go to all of them.
They can't stay long.
Everywhere you go,
everybody's drinking it.
Oops. You don't say beer now, you say light.
Miller Lite.
It's it, and that's that.
If you know anything about this game, you know that some things never change. But if you know about getting great pizza delivered, you know that nobody stands up to Pizza Hut delivery. The difference is the pizza.
Right now, try the new Pepperoni Plus Pizza from Pizza Hut with mountains of pepperoni and 1 more of your favorite toppings, 1 large for just $9.99 and get a second for just $6 more.
Making it great.
ESPN and Paragon Cable take the excitement of the NFL into overtime. After ESPN's regular Sunday night NFL season, you could be our lucky winner with your guest at the Honolulu Pro Bowl. It's a vacation for 2 on February 2nd. Additional prizes are NFL game tickets and gifts. Enter to win today.
If you want to see the NFL pros, see the pros at your participating Nissan dealer and register to win. Test drive a new Nissan car or truck while you're there. Nissan, if you try it, you'll buy it.
Well, Brad Doherty may be a little blurry, but he's okay and back in the game as we check upcoming HSE action. The Spurs hosting the Clippers, 7:30 on Wednesday. On Wednesday the 27th against the New Jersey Nets, and on Saturday the 30th here against Seattle. All 3 live here on HSE. Robinson again challenging Doherty. Out it goes to Nance. Shot clock at 5. He's stripped point blank by Cummings. And TC, instead of getting the ball to a guard, takes it into his own hands, and he draws Larry Nance's 3rd foul.
A good defense out on the court by Terry Cummings, and then good hustle when the ball got down there on the floor. Here's that pressure on the ball as Larry Nance tried to go by him. Terry just picks him, and of course there's Ehlo involved again and knocking the ball loose.
Spurs ball.
That is a major relief for the Spurs. Nance on the bench with 5:10 to go in the half, and Ferry back in. Cummings tries to thread the needle. Ehlo with his back to the ball picks it like he saw it with both eyes.
Just recognized that he was getting in a backdoor situation and had his hand out there. Kept him from getting beat.
And Hot Rod couldn't cash it in. Kick violation by Williams. Reset the shot clock. Well, we've had 2 eyes in the back of the head defensive plays. One in the first quarter by Willie Anderson.
Fresh 24.
This one by Ehlo, really a beauty, and Robinson throws it away. 37 all, 4:45 in the half. Spurs unbeaten to the tune of 129.5 to 96 in their first 2 home games. That's on average. Williams stuffs back in the miss by Ferry. And Hot Rod with 8.
Danny Ferry looks this very similar to the Portland forward that we were talking about the other night.
Cliff Robinson?
Yeah, he just seems to be out of balance. He puts the shot up and it just seems a little quick. He's got no rhythm.
Or you're talking about Kersey.
Jerome Kersey. He just early in the season, what is he shooting? 30% from the floor. Danny Ferry just seems out of balance, like he just doesn't have his legs, or and that, of course, ends up costing you in terms of confidence and when to put it up and how, you know. He really looks like he's struggling.
Eric returning for Avery Johnson. Cummings, after stripping Larry Nance with the results he got a moment ago, tried to do the same thing to Hot Rod Williams, and it cost him the second foul. Hot Rod now 8 of 9 from the line this year, 9 first half points. So he's already surpassed his first 4 games average. You know the story of why he's named Hot Rod, don't you?
No, I don't. Do you?
As always, they go back to infancy. He used to scoot backward across the kitchen floor, making hot rod noises. So what a deal. Let's call him Hot Rod.
let's label that one for the rest of his life.
Robinson inside and out. What a force he has been in the first half. 6 of 8, 12 points.
But to the contrary, you see real balance on the part of David Robinson with that jump shot. He's confident about taking it and puts it up with real balance.
Danny Ferry gets on the board. And knocks it out of bounds. Spurs will get Sidney Green back in and avoid a possible third foul for Cummings. Green in the matchup with Ferry. Elliott works on Williams. Anderson to Garrick, 5 to shoot. And Elliott knocks it out of bounds, battling with Ferry. Cleveland ball up by 2. This will be a quick season series. Second and final meeting will be in Cleveland December 27th as the Spurs go east post-Christmas. Brandon back in. Coughs it up. Robinson, as usual, was in the neighborhood. 3-on-1 through the hands of Garrick. Credit Ferry. He got a hand on the ball.
These kinds of things that'll happen, but the ability to score in bunches is a problem I thought the Spurs had last year to a certain extent. They didn't finish very well. I think they're much better at it this year than last. They seem to be recognizing each other a little better and running the fast break better.
They go too deep that time?
I thought it was that they weren't quite wide enough, which made that pass a little brief, a little too quick.
You can really see the confidence in Sidney Green. Feeling good physically has meant so much in terms of aggressiveness. And another three-pointer by Sean Elliott. He is 5 for 5 this year.
Speaking of balance and confidence, that man's game is steadily improving.
Brandon missed it. Ferry battled with Robinson. Yeah, they're going to call the loose ball foul on David. His second.
Brown making no move yet to get him out, and we'll see Ferry to shoot 2. Sure had the pedigree coming out of Duke, played in 3 Final Fours. Went to Italy rather than play for the Clippers. Came over for with Reggie Williams. In exchange for Ron Harper, 2 number 1s and a number 2. And Garrick not on the same page with Willie Anderson. Spurs turn it over for the 8th time. A minute 50 in the half. Don't go anywhere at halftime. We'll hear the thoughts of Sidney Green and Larry Brown on Magic Johnson, what he meant to them, the NBA, their reaction to yesterday's news. You want to stick around and here's some very well put, thought-provoking thoughts put together by those two.
Well, we see Danny Ferry doing a good thing. He doesn't feel real comfortable with his jump shot. He's got the talent to put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket. He's trying to make things happen, drawing fouls, trying to get the center to switch off on him. That time he took it right into David Robinson's body and drew the foul.
It was on Antoine Carr. Ferry with 5 here in the period. Winston Bennett back in to guard Elliott. Nice up fake. Anderson gets clear. Willie with his best half in a while. 12 points. And the Spurs pull even. Green hammers it away from Doherty, who gets it right back. No roll. Green controls again. His 6th rebound stolen. Ehlo to Doherty. And the foul will be on Sidney Green. We'll take it from Green's rejection a moment ago.
Sidney Green slaps the ball away from Doherty right there. Brad puts it up. Sidney with the rebound, and on the outlet pass, there's that pesky Craig Ehlo again picking it off.
And we've got a technical foul. A flagrant foul is the call, which gives Doherty these free throws, and the Cavaliers will retain possession. We'll see if this is a flagrant foul.
Doherty taking the ball to the basket. They're calling Sidney Green for just an out-and-out push. I don't know how flagrant that was. It was pretty intentional. Now we're talking semantics here.
None too subtle. Doherty triple teamed and right back to the line, where he is 1 for 4.
Brad Doherty's got such a big body and he uses his body very well to protect the ball. And Sidney's best option at this point, he feels, is to try to knock the ball away when he's got it before he gets it up over his head.
The foul is on Garrett. Do you think Doherty has erased the tag that followed him out of North Carolina, that he was too soft?
I think he's playing very well. Every time I see him, he does an outstanding job. He's got that big body and he seems to be using it better and better. I think the NBA suits some players better than college. I think we're seeing that in Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, and so many North Carolina players. Willie Anderson again. Spurs within 1 as we head down to the finish of a highly competitive, entertaining first half. And Green taps Ehlo's pass out of bounds. Cavaliers have missed their last 5.
Good defensive run there by Sidney Green, who was his man was setting the pick, and he saw the backdoor play and got his hand up there and knocked the ball out.
On the turnaround, Doherty ends that 0 for 5 streak. Cleveland by 3. Doherty with 11. Spurs can't quite wind the entire game clock down. 7 to shoot. There goes Garrett into traffic. Carr almost tapped it in. Here comes Brandon. 5 seconds. And the three-pointer not there, and that will be the end of the first half. And the Spurs, who have been such easy winners in their first two outings at home, in a real fight here. They trail at halftime by 3. As the Cavaliers try to wind up their season-opening 5-game trip with a much-needed win.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Doug Patterson was wrong, because when the shark fin started playing, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came surfing by, it got a little better. And when the treasure chest of Old Milwaukee washed ashore, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
As you can see, the house is completely renovated with the very best heating and cooling system.
Must be a Lennox. So we put in this new heat pump, and our bills are really
down.
Exactly.
Must be a Lennox.
Our heat pump? Not a day of trouble ever. Must be a good one.
Must be a Lennox.
Must be.
Get up to $750 in U.S. savings bonds with the purchase of selected Lennox equipment.
Attaboy, Dave.
Let's light up the night like never before. Let's do it right. Let's go for more. Go fish.
This season, go for something more at Long John's. Beautiful holiday crystal. Just 69 or 99 cents with any meal.
At Long John Silver's, you're gonna get your wish. Go fish.
Right now, try our batter-dipped fish and chicken combo. Just $1.99.
When the blistering sun parches the Southwest, your engine needs a motor oil that's built to take the heat. Amelie. We started with premium base oils, added viscosity improvers to prevent thermal breakdown, extra oxidation protection for longer engine life, and enhanced high-temperature performance. The result? Amelie Southwest Formula Motor Oil, built to keep it cool when the heat is on. Ask your retailer for Amelie today.
Portions of today's Spurs game are brought to you by Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything else would be uncivilized.
At halftime, the Cavaliers 51-48 here at the arena. The Cavaliers dominating that second quarter 27-21. Big halves by Doherty with 11, Williams with 10, and for the Spurs 14 for Willie Anderson, 12 points by David Robinson. They're the two Spurs in double figures. We briefly got into some of the thoughts that Sidney Green had for one with a day to accept and respond to the news out of Los Angeles yesterday involving Magic Johnson. We got some further amplification from both Sidney Green and also head coach Larry Brown on exactly their reaction when they first heard that tragic news.
I remember when President Kennedy got shot. It was nah, you don't believe it, and then oh wow, you know how sad, because Kennedy was my hero, and I think Magic was way up there. You know, being a college coach, you try to talk to your kids about how you want them to play, how you want them to act. And you got an example like Magic Johnson, who was the most selfless player ever, on and off the court, and he was the greatest role model. So, you know, I feel really strongly about what he meant, and to see him have this kind of problem was really sad.
I would like to also say also the impact that Magic Johnson has had on the game of basketball itself. I was thinking all day today, and I said, this gentleman, what he has done for the NBA is pretty much what Jackie Robinson has done for baseball, as far as breaking that barrier. He has broke the barrier, and I told this to all my friends. I said, if it wasn't for Magic Johnson, I know I probably wouldn't be in the league right now. This is my 9th season, and you know, he has done so much for the game of basketball, and it's a shame. It's a shame, and my heart, my prayers go out to he and his family.
And I'm just hopeful that, you know, the people will realize, you know, how severe this illness is, and we'll put all our efforts into finding a cure, and then maybe he can play again someday. Maybe we can give him a farewell tour.
genuine draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
He's back. Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks take on David Robinson and the San Antonio Spurs in exciting NBA action. The Knicks feature a variety of offensive weapons to go with Ewing's powerful inside game. But the Spurs' scoring arsenal includes sharpshooters like Terry Cummings and Sean Elliott. It's showdown time. Robinson and Ewing, the Spurs and the Knicks. First Choice brings you exciting Spurs basketball live from the Hemisphere Arena Saturday, November 16th at 7:30.
Experience the thrill of pro football with the Gold Sheets $1 Million Football Challenge. Call 1-900-726-8808, $1.95 a minute. Pick the winning teams plus the over or unders of the total scores of the Sunday pro games. Winners of weekly games receive fabulous cruises, trips, TVs, and more, and get a shot at the grand prize of all, $1 million. Call 1-900-726-8808, $1.95 a minute. The Gold Sheets $1 Million Football Challenge. Play now and you could win $1 million.
NBA hoops, these guys are cooling off a hardwood, styling and slamming, just like we wish we all could, clocking the poles. To them, you're just a witness, busting the move, yeah, taking care of business. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. NBA hoops, they're fresh, they're full. From the cities to your hood, this card is preferred. Everybody's doing it. Hoops is the word. Jamming. Yo, take it from me. This is One Def Jam, official.
You're watching all the excitement of Spurs basketball. It's cable viewing at its best. Take advantage of the advertising power of Paragon. KBL TV, San Antonio.
Halftime at the arena between the Spurs and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sidney Green is with us. Sidney's had an outstanding start. And I have to first get the lowdown on this Canine Club. Who came up with this idea? And you apparently are the number 2 dog in line.
Well, actually, who came up with it was Antoine. With his presence on this team, he's just a fierce competitor, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. And he's a great guy to play with and a great guy to be with off the court. Also a great guy in the locker room. And it's pretty much something that I believe was missing on this team last year. You know, I mean, I tried it for a little while, but I believe in practicing what I'm preaching. You know, I couldn't do that much because of my injury last year. But now with the presence of Antoine, you know, calling us the Canine Club crew, I mean, it fires us all up. It's myself and Sean Higgins. So we just hopefully that we can live up through them standards throughout the season and playoffs, and hopefully the championship series.
And Tom Copa is a pup and I guess a junior member at this point?
He's a junior because he's a rookie. He has to earn his merits. We're working him over.
What does this involve now on the bench? What are you doing to try and fire up the guys on the court?
We just try to keep everybody focused. Our job is to, you know, for any chance the first unit is not performing up to their ability, it's our job to go out there and get things going. And, you know, with Antoine out there scoring and banging and rebounding, everybody feed off that. I know I do, and it's fantastic. It just reminds me a lot of the relationship that I had in New York, playing with Charles Oakley and Patrick Ewing, and playing with the Magic for a year, playing with Terry Catlett. You know, we all feed off hitting and bumping each other and scratching and doing whatever it takes.
Since you and Antoine are similar sized guys with similar skills, outside shot, rebounding, inside game, when he's in, when you are in, it makes your jobs equally easy, doesn't it? Because the defense can't focus on either one of you.
Absolutely. Antoine, he's a great post-up player, great scorer in the paint, and the type of offense that we run, we try to get him the ball in the paint so he can operate. And, you know, most teams, they're going to focus on him in the paint. They're going to send about 2 or 3 guys maybe on him, and that just cleared a way for me to go to the offensive rebound and just try to keep the ball alive.
At what point do you get excited? You've blown away a couple of teams here at home, a good team in Portland, but it's real early. At what point will you get enough of a feel for the potential of this team?
Well, about mid-season. It's just the start of the season, and right now everything is good, but you know, this is a long season, and we just have to stay focused and keep understanding our roles and doing whatever it takes to help this team win. About mid-season, I would have to say that's when we're going to start coming to our senses even more by us telling ourselves that we got something going on real strong here.
Your bark's got to be as bad as your bite, though.
Excuse me?
Your bark's got to be as bad as your bite for that to happen.
That's right.
Keep it up. Thanks for the visit.
Thank you very much.
Sidney Green is our guest at halftime, which continues from Hemisphere Arena in a moment.
Salute this very special group. Let's give them a big round.
God. And the Cavaliers 46%, Spurs 48%. Cavaliers with an edge at the line, which didn't look like was going to be the case the way this game opened. Spurs with an edge off the glass. 9 turnovers hurt them, especially in transition in the second quarter, because it led to 11 points off turnovers for the Cavaliers. Leading rebounder in the game, Green with 6, 2 more than the Admiral, who has 12 points. Willie Anderson leads the Spurs with 14 points. And David, 6 of 8, especially in the first quarter, I thought, as active on both ends of the floor as he's been this year.
Seemed to be getting off the floor real quick, really aggressive on both ends. I think he's up for the challenge of playing against this big front line.
Well, college football coming up here on HSE Live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Heisman Trophy candidate Casey Weldon and the undefeated Florida State Seminoles will battle the South Carolina Gamecocks. FSU and South Carolina live on HSE. And tomorrow at 5:30 live, the Pac-10 race will resume as Tommy Maddox and the nationally ranked UCLA Bruins battle the surprising Stanford Cardinal. Bruins and the Cardinal tomorrow live. A couple of teams with very solid bowl hopes. And that follows number 1 Florida State. The Cavaliers by 3. They open play tonight a game and a half behind Detroit. That's not bad at all. When you open with the road trip that the schedule makers gave them, and you're only a game and a half behind in your division, you can settle for that. 2 and 3 playing where they've played, not all that horrible. Doherty with the steal of Elliott's pass, and he can handle the ball a little bit.
Boy, a lot of it looked like on that play. Very nice hesitation move and step past the defensive player and laid it in. Handling the rock from three-quarter court.
It's now the big lead of the game for Cleveland, and a foul on the Cavaliers as Elliott took it in deep. They get it on Bennett for the reach, his third. The Nance, both starting forwards, have 3. And again, the Spurs turn it over. Brandon to Nance. Out it goes. Watch Ehlo from 3-point range. Spurs survive this giveaway, but a couple of real unforced errors to open this third quarter. Elliott up fake. He'll take it. And Ehlo, as Sean screams for the whistle, it won't come. Meanwhile, Ehlo knocks down the follow-away, and the Cavaliers go up by 7.
Craig Ehlo really getting involved in a lot of different plays on this basketball court. Good defensive play, good offensive move.
Willie Anderson with the tap by Robinson. Spurs needed that. A couple of misses inside 6 inches. Cleveland can go up by 9. Avery Johnson with other ideas, and he's grabbed from behind by Ehlo. The fans say, hey, wait a minute. You called a flagrant foul on Green in the first half. How is this any different? Well, it's a little different.
Good smart play, too. I mean, Cleveland has started off fast. They don't want to turn the ball over and allow the Spurs to come down and get the crowd going and get the Spurs fired up. So he takes the foul quickly in the backcourt, and the Spurs take it from out of bounds.
This turnover has Johnson recovering, knocking it away from Brandon, who touched it last. The entire Cleveland coaching staff up to argue with Bennett Salvatore. They can't believe Brandon touched it. We'll see right in your living room.
Good call. Good hustle play by Avery Johnson. Get back and make that play happen.
A.J. unable to hit his first shot of the night at the other end. And again, Cleveland can go up by 9.
Well, here's the biggest deficit the Spurs have faced all year. It is 9. 8 for Ehlo. Larry Brown up. And he wants time. This is an 11-2 Cleveland spurt. And it's a 20-second Spurs timeout. Uncharacteristically sloppy out of the gate here in the third quarter.
Well, the Spurs have done some good things. Sean Elliott, with the up fake, took the ball to the basket. Ehlo makes the good defensive play. No call. There's been a couple of bad passes that Doherty has picked off, but David Robinson missed a layup that was, just sort of a tough try in the middle of the lane. Things didn't go right, and Cleveland has come down and take advantage.
You can win a trip to see the Spurs play the Rockets in Houston by entering the Hershey's Reese's sweepstakes. Pick up your entry form at the Spurs Good Time Center display at participating HEBs. No purchase necessary. If your name is drawn, you and a friend fly to Houston on Southwest Airlines and get 2 tickets to the game. And don't forget, take advantage of a great deal on delicious Hershey's and Reese's candies, available now at HEB.
Here's the trick for the Spurs is when they are frustrated on offense, do they collectively work together to get good shots, or do individually they try to take over and do it on their own?
Well, Cummings turns it over and wraps up Brandon.
That would be an excellent example of somebody trying to take over and do it on their own. But in defense of Terry Cummings, nothing really happened on any of the picks. The picks weren't very solid, and nobody came off open.
Those 4 turnovers in 2.5 minutes of this third quarter. And the Cavaliers can go up in double figures, but they cough it up this time through Doherty's hands. This a must possession for the Spurs. Cummings with the offensive rebound. And he needs help. Nance and Ehlo have him trapped. Dangerous pass by Robinson. Anderson will put it down.
Quick hands by Willie Anderson in the paint.
First points for the Spurs since 44 seconds remain in the second quarter. Nance has the response. 11 points for Larry Nance. 16th in the league in scoring, coming in just under 22 points per game. Robinson will challenge the middlemen, Bennett and Nick, and he has 14. Tough to get a streak going against a team that plays the fundamentals as well as Cleveland does on defense, isn't it?
It is, and that was a case of Avery Johnson visually and vocally running Sean Elliott out of the way and deliberately posting up David.
Doherty on the feed from Ehlo. This is Craig Ehlo at his best in all aspects of play. Elliott will go to the line. That is another foul on Bennett. He has 4. We won't see him for a while. Third Cavalier team foul.
Here's Sean Elliott with another up fake. He goes by Craig Ehlo. There's Winston Bennett there to make the defensive play. This is the calls that the officials have the toughest time with. Who initiated the contact? Who was there first? Both guys hit the deck. Sean Elliott gets the free throws.
Just his 8th point. This is a little surprising. Lenny Wilkins has made no move to the bench with his starting small forwards scoreless on the night with 4 personals. He's going to keep on his substitution clock. Foul trouble or no foul trouble. 1 of 2. Spurs down 8. 8 minutes to go third quarter. Shot clock at 5. Ehlo for the long 2.
Good example of Craig Ehlo setting the back pick on David Robinson. As his man switched, he was standing there wide open because he sets the pick.
And the big lead of the night is 10, 63-53. Anderson wanted to go in, hits the ball away because of the presence of Doherty, and that's 18 for Willie Anderson.
Clever body control there. Really, one of the things he's probably as good as anybody in the league at is sort of dipping one way and shooting off balance.
Well, that's a nifty pass from Bennett. Doherty couldn't convert it. A rare chance in transition for the Spurs. It's Greg Sutton.
That time the Spurs were a little wider. They forced the defense to commit, make a couple of good passes, and get a layup.
And the fans respond. They want to see a run. They see Brandon miss, and Robinson throw it to Ehlo instead of Anderson. Craig Ehlo is everywhere in the third quarter, and Brad Doherty draws the foul. Robinson has 3. And this product of Lubbock and Odessa College and Washington State has taken over this game.
Out on the town like the night before, when I thought I couldn't go one more. The sun sets down, I get up and do it again.
Clint Black brings it back.
Got lots of color and I can't turn it down.
And only Miller Lite, the biggest beer in Texas, could bring you such a big Texas favorite. Yeah, Clint, Texas, and Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that.
ESPN and Paragon Cable take the excitement of the NFL into overtime. After ESPN's regular Sunday night NFL season, you could be our lucky winner with your guest at the Honolulu Pro Bowl. It's a vacation for 2 on February 2nd. Additional prizes are NFL game tickets and gifts. Enter to win today. Enter to win at your Progressive Northside Mako dealers, 5711 Industry Park Drive at IH-35 in Riddeman and 403 West Rhapsody Drive off 281 near the airport.
Cleveland by 6. Our next HSE telecast will come your way 7:30 Wednesday against the LA Clippers, a team which picked up Doc Rivers and James Edwards in the offseason, and they have already pulled a couple of major victories. The first win in 10 years at the Forum over the Lakers. And they are off to the start that people for years have thought they were capable of. That'll be an interesting battle on Wednesday.
Well, they had quite a lot of success against the Spurs last year.
They did.
This incarnation is probably a little bit better.
The foul which put Doherty on the line was not on David Robinson. It was on Willie Anderson, his second. However, they have Robinson with 3 fouls. We had him with 2, so he is in a little more trouble than we had previously thought. Cleveland by 7, 6:38 in the third. A clear out for Elliott to work on Larry Nance. They wanted Nance to pick up his 4th foul. Wilkins finally pulling Bennett as Ehlo knocks down the 3. That's about the only thing he had not done tonight.
He's really showing a lot of leadership on a road game. Craig Ehlo's just completely getting it done everywhere.
Clear out Cummings. Reverse. Ehlo had a hand in that stop. And almost coast to coast. Doherty from 10. Cleveland by 12. This is their new biggest lead of the game, and this will get Brown up for a full timeout.
Craig Ehlo with the assist as he drives the ball into the basket, kicks it out to Brad Doherty for the nice jump shot.
Boy, this former 12th man has made it from the end of the Rockets bench to a prime-time performance in San Antonio tonight.
There was no problem with the...
Lee Jones, well-known actor, makes his home in the San Antonio area. Not that happy right now. The Cavaliers have their big lead of the night, 5:35 in the third. Points extremely hard to come by for the Spurs here in the third period. They're down to 45% shooting for the night. The shot clock is down to 3. Robinson has to do something, and he made a good decision. 16 points. This game's got to turn around on the defensive end for the Spurs. They need a few stops strung together. They especially need to stop this man.
Probably the first bad decision Craig Ehlo's made all night long. Had to force up a shot in the middle of the lane.
What a look inside by Anderson. I don't know how he spotted David Robinson, but he threaded the needle, and just like that, it's an 8-point game. The first 2 games here have been non-stop scream fest. These fans haven't had that much to get loud about tonight. And they get quiet here as the shot goes and is counted for Brad Daugherty. Elliott's second, third team.
The difficult thing about guarding Brad Daugherty, he's got the big body, he can move a little bit, got a very nice touch.
Except at the foul line, where he is now only 5 of 9 tonight. 21 points, 7 boards for the former number one out of North Carolina. Sutton to the deck, and he's tied up by Brandon. Brown gets Sutton, Garrett, Carr off the bench. And here's a real key stretch. Anderson, Cummings, and Johnson, 3 of the starters. All on the Spur bench. Off the Cavalier bench is Kerr. And here's another reason this is a key stretch. You finally have Ehlo out of the game. Foot race between Nance and Carr, and Nance wins.
From what we understand, Terrell Brandon has an outstanding vertical leap, and I had a pretty good example of it right there on that jump ball.
Nance throws it right to Robinson. Great anticipation. Elliott could not finish. Here comes Brandon the other way. And that's a big 4-point swing. You miss a slam, they get a jumper. That hurts, and now the biggest lead of the game is 13. 5 unanswered Cavalier points. Kerr will be called for the reach on Carr. Kerr fouls Carr, his first, team's fourth. As Mark Price continues to rehabilitate, that's why he's traveling with the team. They feel that makes it easier for him to work on that surgical knee, and they expect him back sometime in the next few weeks. No firm date yet. For one of the great point guards in the NBA. Nance is going to pick up his 4th. And the team's 5th. So a couple of openings here. Ehlo on the bench, and Nance soon to follow.
You get Lenny Wilkins giving some of his wisdom, and boy, that man has some wisdom to his young point guard. Some words of encouragement. This is that critical point in the game where those point guards have to manage what's going on the court. The crowd can get into it. In this building, it doesn't take much for everything to get very chaotic, and Lenny Wilkins wants his guy to keep this game under control.
The Spurs have missed Carr's scoring off the bench tonight. That's only his 4th point. Comes in with an average of 14 and a half. 3rd best on the team. Elliott with another Spurs steal. Kerr threw it away to his former Arizona teammate. And did that one touch Daugherty? Rio says no. Kobe, that always hurts when you work hard enough to get a steal and don't take care of the ball.
It sure does. And it was interesting there as David Robinson looks at Tommy Nunez, imploring him that someone else touch the ball, and Tommy looked right back at him and said, I don't know. Which is always nice to get out of an NBA.
Well, points for honesty.
Yeah, you don't want them to sit there and act like they know when you absolutely know they don't.
Brandon switching to the left hand.
Tough, strong move with the left hand in the lane.
3rd in Pac-10 history in career scoring. An aggressive Antoine Carr draws the foul. And that on Ferry, his 2nd. A little interesting to see what Carr can do here, knowing that the team needs him to have an outburst the way he has had in the first 4 games.
Well, what we got in the Portland game that we're not getting tonight is somebody with a semblance of an outside game. Willie's put up a few shots. I think they're in the Portland game. Portland and Cleveland are very similar in that they have very quick, active, big people, and it makes it a little more difficult for David and Antoine and some of these bigger players in the lane, unless you can get some kind of an outside game going that spreads things out a bit.
Here's a big front line for Wilkins. Sperry, the small forward. Williams, the big forward. Doherty, the center. Carr with the miss. Steve Kerr rebounded by Sean Elliott, and Greg Sutton commits the offensive foul. Pretty obvious call as Kerr stood his ground. Sutton picks up his first, and the Cavs call time. A lot of time left, 2:26 in the third, but the Spurs need to get something cooking. They trail 76-64. And not a whole lot has gone right for them here in the third quarter. Well, join the official Spurs Club Teammates. It's open to anyone 14 and under. All members receive a Spurs cap with 5 starters autographed. That's exclusive to Teammates members. Also a Spurs watch, a Spurs bumper sticker, a 5x7 autographed picture of David Robinson, a membership card, and your Teammates newsletter, plus an invitation to a Spurs practice. To join Teammates, call the Spurs office at 554-SPUR. The cost is only $14.95, or you can write Teammates, care of the Spurs, 600 East Market Street, Suite 102, San Antonio 78205. That's for anyone 14 and under.
Well, we can see from the hustle board that this game is very close. Right now, Cleveland's been making some shots, drawing some fouls and making some free throws, but it's a very close game. It's going to be a matter of the Spurs trying to figure out where the Cleveland team is most vulnerable and making it happen without turning the ball over.
Where are they most vulnerable?
I think you got to develop some kind of a jump shot from 15 feet. I mean, it's really difficult to continue to take the ball to the basket against this level of talent. I mean, Manson, Doherty, and these are big people, Hot Rodder, big people. And 15-foot jump shots aren't out of the question. They're not that good a defensive team up on the perimeter, but you've got to work together. Somebody's got to set the pick. The other guy's got to just knock that shot down. And, of course, there's a third guy that's got to get the ball there with some kind of timing, and that's the downside of running a passing game, is that everybody's got to be on the same page and recognize shots come from on any given night. Either that or they're going to have to call set plays, which are more static, and a good defensive team reads set plays a little easier.
This was a 3-point game at halftime. The biggest lead has been 13. It can go to 14 on this Cavalier possession as Kerr goes to the deck. Salvatore will make the call as Wilkins gets a 20-second timeout. We're still waiting on the call. I don't know if that was a foul or out of bounds on Kerr or exactly what that was.
I think some of the frustration, the pressure of this game for Larry Brown, he was in a bit of a staring and finger pointing, and there was some words exchanged between Larry Brown during that last timeout and Tommy Nunez, the head official tonight. Greg Popovich came out, separated them, and they both stared off into the distance. But you got to feel vulnerable with 2:12 to go in the third quarter, down 12 to a team that's hungry for a win and has got enough talent to beat you.
Well, it is still Cleveland ball. Still not positive what that call was, but it's moot now as Brandon misfires and Sutton works upstream and attacks hard off Robinson to Carr. He'll go up hard and get fouled. And now it's Hot Rod who's hot.
Well, you see all those big bodies in there. Antoine Carr's had a lot of success early in the season being able to go up and shoot that jump shot. It's difficult for him to get it off. He got the foul call on that occasion.
Well, here's the head Rottweiler in the newly formed Canine Club. And here is his first mate, Sidney Green, replacing Robinson. That type thing's got to be good for a team, just to loosen things up. You know, any one of a number of things you can do to have fun with that. And I'm predicting within 2 more weeks of home games, we will have fans showing up with milk bone dog biscuits and floppy ears and flea collars, and they'll pick up on it themselves. Ehlo back in, and as he feeds Doherty, he gets an elbow to the face. This will be the 4th Spur team foul. First in the last 2 minutes.
Sidney's got his arms up as if Ehlo ran his face into his elbow on purpose.
Well, Tommy Lee Jones matched in celebrityhood by George Strait in the gray pullover. Here's Ferry. Carr with the big board.
Wrong shot, wrong time for Danny Ferry that time. Nobody realizing that he was going to shoot it.
And then Willie couldn't hit the long shot, which, as Kobe said, the Spurs really need to loosen up that interior D. This whistle goes on Antoine Carr. And now the Cavs with the bonus on Carr's second personal, 1:05 in the third. Williams at the line. They lead by 10. He has 10. Well, here's the $5 million man. Got to reflect back on what Sidney Green said at halftime about the financial liberation that he attributes to Magic Johnson, producing the revenues, the TV ratings, the level of acceptance that the NBA has had. And it comes to the point where a role player, really, I mean, he's not a superstar, very good player. A role player like John Hot Rod Williams can make $5 million a year on the free agent market.
Well, it's an indication of the kind of revenues that basketball teams make.
Carr misses from outside. Ferry, rejection, Carr from nowhere.
Great hustle back by Antoine Carr. Danny Ferry just not finishing that play, taking the ball really strong all the way to the basket. That should have been a dunk for a 6'11" player.
The shot clock is at 11. The game clock is at 28 in the third quarter. And the Spurs will get an illegal D. They're real lucky here. It's their first warning. They're 1.7 seconds away from it being a technical foul. Then it would have been the last 24 seconds of the period. We have 25.7 seconds. And a new shot clock. Something the Spurs have stayed away from this year. They were one of the more illegal defense-prone teams in the league last year. Doherty trapped. 10 seconds underneath, and Carr does it to Ferry again. 7 seconds for Sutton in the 3-on-2. Willie off the spin. Ehlo got the block, and Anderson steps out of bounds. What a finish for Craig Ehlo's magnificent third quarter. We still have 2.1 seconds, and Ehlo will look deep and settle short. And we'll go to the fourth period with Cleveland up by 12 points. Mainly because of that man. At the end of 3, 78-66 Cavaliers. Well, the Cavaliers assume full command of this game in the third period. Our Southwest Airlines game summary. They outshoot the Spurs in that quarter, 52% to 33%. The big number, 8 San Antonio turnovers in the period after 9 in the first half. And only 2 Spurs in double figures. Robinson and Anderson each with 18. The next high scorer is Sean Elliott with 8. So we begin the fourth quarter. The Spurs go with Green, Carr, and Elliott up front. Anderson and Garrett in the backcourt. Ferry, Doherty, Williams still forming that big front line with Ehlo and Kerr in the backcourt. And Doherty plays two-man basketball with Kerr. Deflection Green. Kerr out of the trap, throws it away to Anderson. And now we'll see what the Spurs can do with the gift. They get Carr in deep and a three-point chance. And the Canines are barking now.
Good strong move in the paint by Antoine Carr. Brings a lot of energy to this team. This is a good pass from Tom Garrick into the paint. Good pump fake, gets it up soft off the glass. Tough play.
Now 3 Spurs in double figures. That foul was Williams' third. It's a 9-point game. The Spurs go to pressure. And oh, no, they do get another
another turnover. I thought Salvatore said it was off the Spurs. It's the Spurs ball. And the Cavs want to try to get Brandon back in to settle down the press offense, but they won't let him in yet. The period opens with back-to-back Cavalier giveaways. Spurs can come within 7 after trailing by 13. 4 to shoot. Back inside to Carney. Once again is on the money. An 8-2 San Antonio run.
Well, maybe Antoine Carr can do for his team what Craig Ehlo has done for Cleveland. Lift the energy level.
This foul on Green. He, Cummings, and Robinson all with 3. Here's a guy who is living up to his role. 5 unanswered points to open this fourth quarter for Antoine Carr. Doherty tried the extra pass to Nance. Garrick was right there. And they'll have 12 on the shot clock. Spurs have to love what they've seen from Tom Garrick. Great defense, and he's shooting 73% from the field coming in. 8 for 11 field goals. Nance from Ehlo. Carr grabs the board. Kicks to Anderson. Ahead to Garrick, who got hammered by Ehlo, and Garrick quickly pops up as the fans rain the boos down Craig Ehlo.
Good play. I think there's some discussion as to whether he got the ball and that was a shot attempt. Officials are ruling that Craig Ehlo fouled him before he got the ball, and they're taking it out on the side.
78-71 Cleveland. Elliott against Ferry. 5-point game.
Took the big chest bump from Ferry and kept his balance and hit a nice shot in the lane.
The run is 12-4. The Cavs go cold, 1 for their last 7 from the field, and they want timeout. Not as easy as the first 2 at home, but the Spurs got it together now.
Ever since Southwest Airlines extended our Friends Fly Free sale, people have gotten even friendlier.
Sugar Plum, your favorite pillow.
If you make reservations and buy your round-trip ticket at our regular low unrestricted fare, a friend gets to fly with you free all the way through February.
Hey, Dad, seen the head trimmer?
And now you can buy tickets till January 15th.
Here's that putter I borrowed last year, old buddy.
Southwest Airlines Friends Fly Free sale. It's great for your pocketbook and your popularity.
The technology developed on the track for the awesome 650 horsepower Lumina NASCAR champion goes into cars like this. The 1992 twin dual cam V6 Chevy Lumina Z34. Sorry, decals not included. Chevy Lumina Z34 from the heartbeat of America. And now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Bob Pullum was wrong, because when a crate of lobsters fell from the sky, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team dropped by, it got a little better. And when an old Milwaukee truck showed up, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Kobe, how does a guy like Antoine Carr go so cold for 3 quarters and then just immediately ignite?
Well, he's out there trying to make something happen. As soon as he gets a couple of plays down, he's so infectious with his personality, he spreads it around.
And he spreads a little magic to Green, who muscles for that board. Spurs down 5. And with only 2 starters on the floor, they have this rally in full blossom. Willie Anderson inside of Ehlo, tough shot. And Doherty has his 8th rebound. This rally began at the defensive end. Cavaliers with back-to-back turnovers to open the quarter. Ehlo, of course, gets him out of the schneid with a 3-pointer, his 2nd of the night. 16 points.
Just a different kind of leadership out of Craig Ehlo. You get him a little arm pumping and things out of him, but you don't see all the emotion that you get out of an Antoine Carr. But his players know, his teammates know that he's doing everything he can to keep his team into this game.
Straight from the factory, we were made for each other. One of those things it's meant to be. Straight from the factory, nothing less than exactly your only lock just made to fit my key.
Only the biggest beer in Texas could bring you Clint Black's Texas Tour. Miller Lite. Texas brewed, Texas proud. It's it, and that's that.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Your
Plymouth Laser RS Turbo.
You can talk.
That's not all. 0 to 66.3. You like all-wheel drive?
Well, beautiful.
Don't try this at home.
Laser, an intelligent machine.
Can we go for a spin?
Sure.
9:12 to go. 81-73 Cleveland.
Ground transportation arranged through General Rent-A-Car. When on the move, do it in style and save money with quality Chrysler cars. Great low rates and free unlimited mileage. General Rent-A-Car.
So we got David Robinson back into the game right now. We'll see if Antoine Carr can spread that infectiousness to David Robinson and get him fired up for this last 9 minutes.
Well, in trying to do so, he picks up his 3rd foul and the team's 2nd. Each team with 2 here. 8:54 to go in the game.
Strategically, we got Craig Ehlo also has been in the game since the beginning of the 4th quarter.
Brandon rejected by Robinson. Boy, Ehlo is everywhere. He comes up from behind Garrick, knocks it out of his hand. It was out of bounds, but he foiled any chance the Spurs had a fast breaking there.
Well, obviously Lenny Wilkins feels like he needs Ehlo to be the glue in the 4th quarter in this game. We'll see if he has a whole 4th quarter of this kind of effort level in him, if he's prepared to play the whole 4th quarter as efficiently as he's played the rest of this game.
Knocks it out of Willie Anderson's hands there. Gets right up in his face. Garrick needs some movement. 3 to shoot. Robinson will have to take it from farther out than he'd like, and an air ball taken down by Hot Rod Williams.
That's not a good enough shot for a
Ehlo trying to hit Doherty on the run, or rather Williams on the run it was. No, it was Doherty, and he almost fires it in from 60 as the Spurs again come within 6. Garrick's first basket of the night.
And a good time for it. Tom Garrick taking things into his own hands in the transition, puts up a nice soft shot.
Unable to answer is Nance. Anderson on the flank will challenge Nance. Get him up, put it down. 20 for Willie.
Boy, tough guy to go in at. Willie Anderson got him leaning one way and beat him back to the basket.
7.5 minutes of this type of noise for the Cavaliers to weather. It's a 20-7 Spurs run to within 4. Great pass. Williams to Doherty, and they draw the foul.
There's those big people as Hot Rod Williams draws some defensive attention, makes an excellent pass to the weak side to Brad Doherty.
Here's the hand for Carr, replaced by Cummings. Boy, Sidney Green really said it at halftime. The Spurs just didn't have that type of personality last year. Every team can use an Antoine Carr. And he and Sidney, not a bad tag team in there. 24, a season high for Brad Doherty. 82-77. In fact, you could almost go so far as to say you really can't win big in this league without an Antoine Carr. Someone like that. Robinson knocked away by Williams. You know, not necessarily in his package, but someone who sparks you and you know will score off the bench night in, night out, and accept that role. Anderson and a 4-on-1 to the Admiral. Three-point game. 82-79. And Wilkins, without much choice but to call another timeout. What better way to rock the roof of the arena and keep the rally alive?
It's business as usual in jolly old England, or is it?
It's an ugly, dangerous business.
There's something devilish in this one.
Forgive it, it's poison. Refined, cold-blooded, deliberate murder.
Murder that challenges the mind of the master. Sherlock Holmes Mysteries, Mondays at 8:10 Pacific on A&E.
This infernal problem is consuming me.
Sherlock Holmes will consume you on A&E and Paragon Cable.
Order a movie from First Choice Pay-Per-View, and you can enjoy first-run features without ever leaving home. Rent a movie from a video store, and you not only have to pick it up, you've got to bring it back. First Choice Pay-Per-View. Without it, you'll go far.
Thanks for watching and enjoying all the action of Spurs basketball. Take advantage of the advertising power of Paragon. KBL TV, San Antonio.
The Spurs and HEB introduced Star Patrol, 5 unique individuals bringing the children to San Antonio. A very important message, be the best that you can be. In conjunction, HEB offering the official Spurs school notebook, tablets featuring Terry Cummings, Larry Brown, and the Star Patrol characters, available exclusively at your neighborhood HEB. All proceeds donated by HEB to the Spurs Foundation to support the Star Patrol drug education program. After the timeout, turnover on the inbounds pass, Larry Nance. And the Spurs, who have not been this close since they trailed by 3 at halftime, will get the ball down 82-79. 6.5 minutes to go.
Interesting attempt at a cross-court lob pass from out of bounds. That was a called play by Lenny Wilkins.
Elliott from 20. Within 1.
That's the jump shot that I'm talking about. That was a double pick that time by Terry Cummings and David Robinson, sealing off Sean's man and giving him the jump shot.
Robinson made Nance think twice, went to Williams, not there. Rebound Willie. Spurs can lead for the first time since 2:13 in the second quarter, and it's coming.
That 17-foot jump shot.
Brandon stripped by Willie Anderson. Elliott knocked away. Robinson almost like an alley-oop. One more time, counted with a foul.
Here's Terrell Brandon taking it real strong to the hoop. Looks like Sean Elliott is the guy that got the block there. Here he is trying to get the ball into the lane. David with a pump fake up against two big players and makes it work. And there you see that infectious enthusiasm.
And the added bonus here is that Larry Nance picks up his 5th personal. 9 straight Spur points. They go from 13 back to 4 up. And Wilkins, without much choice, got to keep Nance in. Ehlo had a toe on the line and gets the roll.
What a touch from a 3-point shot to have it hit that soft right on the front of the rim.
18 for Craig Ehlo. Inside, Robinson knocked it away from Ehlo. Tremendous reach in by David. Anderson foul. Terrell Brandon with the reach. And the shot well after the foul. That is Brandon's first, 14. Well, the Cavaliers, who played so flawlessly in the third period, 2 of their last 16 from the field.
Well, you just up the competitive pressure. The crowd gets into it. You've got to have those steadying guys on your team who can sit there and knock in the shot. Craig Ehlo seems to be the only guy that's willing to rise to that occasion for Lenny Wilkins tonight.
He is absolutely the only guy. He's made both of those 2. A 3 and a long 2. Now Brown into it here with Bennett Salvatore.
That's the difficulty of playing in a hostile environment anyway. When you go on the road, you've got to have those guys that just play steady in the face of all the crowd noise and the enthusiasm the players bring to it at home.
That's a tough foul on Brandon. Well, you saw him lift. And now, as the foul goes on Brandon, the call that Brown was arguing, they give Ehlo a moment ago a 3. We had a pretty good look at it from here. He definitely seemed to have a toe on the line. And the late reversal. We'll see if on replay we can pick it up. The fake. Toe on the line. That should have been a 2. No question. And if this is a 1-point game, you will hear about that again, I guarantee. Spurs by 2. Larry Nance with 5 fouls. Into Ehlo. And even he proved human in this incredibly cold 4th period by the Cavs. Cummings heating up. Everything contagious. The bad shooting by Cleveland, and Kobe, the good shooting contagious by the Spurs.
Well, they're just on a roll. What seems to be happening with Cleveland is they're just not getting the offensive cohesiveness that they had earlier. They're not setting the picks.
Anderson will run this feed down from Garrick. No look bounce to the Admiral. Add a foul on Doherty, his 3rd. Here's another look. What a no-look pass. Doherty completely off balance because he thought Garrick was going left instead of with the bounce pass right.
And David Robin just way too quick one-on-one with no help for Brad Doherty.
Brandon chasing down the long board. Garrick from behind Ehlo. They'll call him for his 3rd. But Larry Brown with enough confidence in Tom Garrick. Paul Pressey has not gotten off the bench tonight.
His great hustle. Looks like a clean pick on the replay.
That's a couple of real tough calls. The 3-pointer, which should have been a 2. And what looks like a nice pick. Instead, a foul. Ehlo, mercy.
What a play.
21 on the night for Craig Ehlo to go with 6 assists and 6 rebounds. 3:18 for the Spurs to work with in a 4-point game. 91-87. Elliott draws the foul.
Doherty's fourth. And tell you what really tells the story tonight, the HEB hustle board with the Spurs out rebounding the Cavaliers by 11 blocks and 9 steals. You get triple doubles in those categories, and it is a team effort, a team swarm. That's what it's been, except for the third quarter. Greg Sutton replacing Willie Anderson. And it's 3-point time. We're getting close to it for the Cavs. They'll get Kerr in, and Nance will rest with 5 fouls. Probably not for all that long. In this fourth quarter, however, you think it's not the Ehlo show? He's 3 for 5. The rest of the Cavaliers combined are 0 for 7. (93-87). That's the Spurs' biggest lead of the night. Three-minute mark. Brandon with Sutton in his face and Williams with the tap in. 14 off the bench for Hot Rod Williams. Cummings with the elbow pointed in the direction of Ehlo's Adam's apple. Knocked away. Brandon ahead to Ehlo.
Good smart move that time. That didn't look like much, but he just took David Robinson, one of the great shot blockers in the game, out of that play by extending his body into Dave and trying not to, so that Dave couldn't draw the foul or block the shot. Use the basket to protect the ball.
Brown says, let's settle it down. Shot clock under 10. Game clock at 2:13. And Doherty knocks it off Cummings and out of bounds. So now the Cavaliers coming up with the defensive plays as Anderson comes right back in for Sutton.
We saw this a little bit against Denver, where the Spurs are a little confused. It doesn't look like they know what they want to do when they come down the court. This is a close game, and they come down and they're setting, the picks aren't set well enough. They're not coming up with the with the good NBA jump shot is what wins games. That good 15, 17-foot jump shot.
Spurs' upcoming schedule looks this way. 7:30 Wednesday night here at the arena against Danny Manning and the Clippers. That's our next HSE telecast as well. 7:30 Saturday, November 16th, the New York Knicks come for their only regular season appearance. Pat Riley, the new man in charge. Patrick Ewing against David Robinson. You can order that on pay-per-view. And 7:30 Wednesday, November 20th, the Minnesota Timberwolves also offered on pay-per-view. 2:11 to play, 93-91. Are you surprised Antoine Carr's not in? He basically is the guy most responsible for getting the Spurs from 13 down to in front by 2.
A little bit. Terry Cummings has hit his last 2 jump shots, and that kind of thing. I mean, I'm a big believer in you go outside, you go inside, and against a team like this, I think it's easier to get a jump shot that you can make and win this game. I think, you know, if you focus on it, the pick's set right, the ball is there, you can get a 15-foot jump shot against this team. I think that's where it lies, but it takes some leadership on the court and recognition on the court as to where the shot comes from, because I think you can pin down on guys like Larry Nance, and they can't fight back through the pick and come out to 15, 17-foot range.
The tale of 2 periods. Third quarter shooting, Cavaliers 53%, Spurs 33%. Fourth quarter shooting, Spurs 65%, Cavaliers 33%. And if they can just withstand the efforts of Craig Ehlo, who may very well be in a position to pull this thing out single-handedly based on his first 46 minutes tonight, then the Spurs can go 3-0 at home and 4-1 out of the gate in 91-92. Open for 3. What a mistake that appeared to be, as Garrett comes up with a huge rebound and cashes it in at the other end.
Well, you could see that 3-pointer by Craig Ehlo just had no chance You wonder whether keeping Craig in the game for the whole, or the extent of the fourth quarter at the effort level he puts out, that you're asking a lot of him to win the game with the shot.
The Spurs put ninja defense on him, and he knocks down another bomb. He's got 25 points.
Then on the other hand, maybe Lenny Wilkins knows what he's doing.
1:25 to play. And on the shot clock, Robinson through the double team. I think that might have kissed the bottom of the backboard, and the Spurs will be called for the loose ball foul. And Robinson will be called, his fourth, team's fifth.
And Craig Ehlo becomes a central figure in this game once again.
As if he hadn't been there all night.
Because he can tie this game right now.
Can you think of any other 12th man who has become the contributor he has?
Not at all. I thought he played as good a game against the Spurs last year in Cleveland as I saw anybody play last year. He was just doing everything. And he's doing it again tonight.
Well, he's 5 points away from a career high, equaling 31 points. 27-14 here in the fourth quarter, and 23 points in the second half. Ehlo was pretty much a non-factor in the first half. He had 4 in intermission. And he has put his personal stamp on just about everything that's happened ever since then.
Well, I don't think scoring a lot of points is really his function on this team. He's more the kind of guy that fits all the pieces together. He makes up defensively for mistakes. He sets picks. He moves the ball. To be the leading scorer in the game is an extra for him, but he's the only guy that's stepping up and keeping them together tonight.
Another sold-out house of 16,057. Cavaliers have taken them out of the game. They were rocking when the Spurs went up from 13 down to 6 on top. And since then, the Spurs, I don't know, is it a lack of attacking or shots just not going offensively for the Spurs since then?
I think it's just a confusion as to what they want to do, who they're going to, what they're trying to get. Part of that is the guy with the ball in his hands. It's just a matter of timing. If something can happen on one side of the court, you want to swing the ball. If the ball doesn't get there, or if the guy doesn't wait for the pick, then you get nothing. You've gone through a movement for 20 seconds, and you really don't come up with a shot. And the Spurs have had problems last year. I think they've had problems with it early in this season.
Well, Cleveland 2 of 16 at one point in this quarter, but they've made their last 5. And don't forget, our next HSE telecast is the Spurs' next action here from the arena, 7:30 live next Wednesday night.
We'll see right now what Larry Brown has drawn up on the sideline. Most probably some kind of a set play. He's calling somebody's number. We'll see whose number it gets called here, or whether that person can get the shot off.
It'll be Anderson at midcourt. Kerr backs off rather, and it's Elliott picked up by Ehlo. 1:13 to play, tied at 95. Elliott picked up in the switch by Williams, quickly around the horn. It'll be Garrick, and it won't go. Elliott not quite on the follow. What a job to get the follow off. And now with 53 seconds to go, the game literally in Craig Ehlo's hands. Shot clock at 5. Williams to screen for Kerr. And a bump by Cummings, and Nunez is going to call it.
Both teams, the Spurs on the last possession, Cleveland here, good half-court defense. They're trying to make something happen, and the defense has been very, very good. I'm sure that Tom Garrick wasn't the guy's name who was mentioned in the timeout for Larry Brown, but the Cleveland team forced the ball movement over to Tom Garrick. He had a good shot. Sean Elliott had a good shot on the offensive rebound. And as Terry Cummings steps out on this play, he bumps Kerr and gives him a couple of free throws.
Just for a 2-point lead. And the Spurs will burn their final timeout with 37.3 seconds, down 97-95.
But the question for Larry Brown at this point is, how do you get the shot you want? How do you get the guy who's capable of making the shot open? Because it's probably against this team not going to come on an inside play unless they can isolate and get David Robinson the ball. He can do something very quickly. But if I'm Cleveland, I'm trying to keep the ball out of David Robinson's hands.
Anybody else can win it except him.
I would try to force somebody to shoot it from the outside.
Well, Tuesday night,
probably not Sean.
Yeah.
Anyone else.
Tuesday night at 6:30, HSE presents an in-depth highlight review show spotlighting the NBA. NBA Action features a week in review as well as the week's most exciting plays. NBA Action, Tuesday night at 6:30 on HSE. Well, if the Cavaliers do indeed follow Kobe's explicit instructions to keep the ball away from David Robinson and then probably from Sean Elliott, you'd think that puts the game in Terry Cummings' hands.
Well, it has been in the past. The problem in terms of Terry Cummings' game is he's not opted to put it on the floor and draw a foul or anything, but he's shot the ball well here in the fourth quarter. He's capable of making the shot. You know, Cleveland's got some big people, and Terry Cummings has a slow release. He relies on being bigger than everybody and shooting over people, and against this team, he doesn't really have that decided advantage that against some teams he does. It may end up going all the way around and end up in Tom Garrick's hands. That'll be interesting if it happens that way.
We see not that many chances tonight. 4 of 7. 9 points. Robinson has 25 points. Anderson has 20. And it'll be Willie to trigger it in. To Cummings. Got Williams up. Great bounce pass. Garrick, tough shot. Rebound Elliott. 30 seconds. 16 to shoot. Cummings again got Williams off his feet. Puts it down. Tie game.
Tough shot from Terry Cummings. Good control. Had a guy run at him, bigger guy. Pump faked him and then still got the shot off even though there was defensive help coming in his face.
Well, that whole sequence worth another look.
Now here's Willie on the penetration. He kicks the ball out to Terry Cummings. Pump fake, still having to shoot over Larry Nance. Tough shot, gets it to go.
The only thing that could have possibly been better would be for Nance to pick up his 6th foul and give Terry a chance to put the Spurs up by 1 instead of tie it with 25 seconds to go, as he did at 97. What a game. I tell you what, for November 8th, you can't get a much better game.
I'm sure Lenny Wilkins is real proud of his group. You know, this is the last game of a tough start for the season, and they're really playing a good game tonight. They're doing just what you want to do on the road, stay in the game and give yourself a chance to win. So he's over there trying to figure out who's got the best chance of winning this game for him. Whether or not Craig Ehlo's got one more big play and left in him for tonight.
Cleveland hardly ever has success here. They have lost 17 of 20 at Hemisphere Arena. Spurs swept 2 last year. In overtime at Richfield, 116-106, and by 8 here, 111-103. Here, we may well have the second overtime meeting in the last 3 between these two.
There's a guy over there in the Cleveland huddle, Brian Winters, who's had a lot of success in this building. Some of the Spurs fans remember some of the great shootouts that George Gervin and Brian Winters put on in this building years ago. I'm sure Lenny would like to suit him up right now for this last 25 seconds.
Do it like he did for the Bucks so many years. But he'll have to make do with Mr. Ehlo. Too bad. Ehlo, Kerr, Brandon, Williams, and Doherty against Robinson, Cummings, Elliott, Anderson, and Tom Garrick getting the crunch minutes at the point again tonight. Shot clock, of course, at 24. And immediately, a delay of game warning on the Spurs. Perhaps for Sean Elliott crowding the ball. Got to give the passer a certain amount of room. Elliott now backing off.
And Ehlo throws off Cummings out of bounds. Spurs had everything blanketed, and it costs 0.6 of a second. Now the shot clock still shows 24. Kerr will work to Brandon. 97-97. Brandon and Hot Rod Williams. Kerr. Doherty for three. Rebound Anderson. 2 seconds from 50 feet, way over everything, and we have overtime.
Great half-court defense by the Spurs. Both of these teams doing a really good job with the half-court defense.
Well, remember what we said at 7:30 when we came on the air about it coming down to a last-second shot in the dark. Last year here against the Cavaliers, Willie hit a shot just like that one. Not here, and we'll play 5 more minutes at least.
Cold-filtered. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
If you know anything about this game, you know that some things never change. But if you know about getting great pizza delivered, you know that nobody stands up to Pizza Hut delivery. The difference is the pizza.
Right now, try the new Pepperoni Plus Pizza from Pizza Hut with mountains of pepperoni and one more of your favorite toppings, one large for just $9.99 to get a second for just $6 more.
Making it great.
Sooner or later, your stick-shift transmission is going to need service. When it does, don't play games. Bring it to an AMCO center. AMCO, AA-MCO.
Well, we have our first overtime action, 91-92. Dave Barnett, Kobe Dietrich from Hemisphere Arena, where we will play at least 5 more minutes. And the Cavaliers not completely without support. 97-97. Spurs trail by 13. Tonight's Old Milwaukee player of the game, and this pretty much will stand up regardless of what happens in overtime. Craig Ehlo, 11 of 21 from the field, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 23 second-half points. And really, at all times he's been on the court, he has been the key man, both ends of the court. He's our player of the game, brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. Cleveland controls the tap, and they go with their same 5 that ended regulation.
Well, now they've got Larry Nance in the game now, and that would surprise me a little bit. I didn't mention it, but I was surprised that Larry Nance wasn't in the game for that last shot.
That's the one change.
They really didn't come up with anything. Brad Doherty for a three-pointer, you wouldn't think would be drawn up on the sideline.
That's trouble, knocked out of bounds, and that one way or another was going to be a turnover. The shot clock was down to 1 second as Hot Rod Williams hit the deck and came up without the ball. So you're right, the one change, Nance rather than Doherty, and Nance plays with 5 fouls. The same 5 Spurs who ended regulation.
Once again, you wonder how much Craig Ehlo's got left. He hasn't been out of the game. There he comes in for the big defensive rebound.
Robinson looks at his left hand. He never had good control of that. Wipes it off on his uniform. And lucky he didn't pick up his 5th foul and going for the rebound. Hot Rod Williams. And Nance almost with a gorgeous tip.
Well, that's kind of athletic ability you get out of Larry Nance. Almost got that one to go.
Cummings will try and foul him out. Can't do it. Anderson through the trap. Off Williams. 5 on the shot clock for Elliott. And we are still scoreless in overtime.
And that was Craig Ehlo as the second guy in that double team on Willie Anderson.
The legs may be starting to go for Ehlo.
That ball was short. Did not get to the basket.
Bad pass by Garrett. Much too hard and too far in front of Robinson. Well, the legs still have a little left.
Well, he gathered himself and just drilled that shot in. Keeps pouring it on.
Spurs coaches, if they have one criticism of Garrick, he plays at one speed all the time. Elliott coaxes it home, his 16th point. We're tied again.
Well, Sean beat his former teammate into the middle of the lane and shot over him. Tied the game.
At making up for the turnover on a previous possession. Kerr. Out of bounds off Cummings. Now we'll see Antoine Carr. Well, not now, but after this timeout. Carr will return for the Spurs, and Doherty will return for the Cavaliers. Three in the overtime, so they have 2 remaining. The Spurs have all 3 of theirs. 2:42 to play. Elliott has scored for the Spurs. Ehlo has scored for Cleveland. And as we said before we went to the break, we'll see Antoine Carr for the first time in a while. He is as responsible as any Spur for getting him back in the game after they trailed by 13. He ignited the fourth quarter rally in which the Spurs outscored the Cavs 31-19 to force overtime. 12 points for the game, 10 since halftime for AC.
Well, it's interesting. Both scores for both teams have been off of some kind of a broken down or a transition situation. They're both having a difficult time getting a good shot off against their half-court defense.
Ehlo, shot clock at 8. Over Anderson. Robinson, rebound number 11. He and Doherty have pretty much battled to a standoff all night. Garrick gets free and blows the lay-in, but a foul, and it's going to go on Garrick. Boy, he's done some great things tonight, but he threw the bad pass to Robinson, blows the layup here, and then compounds it with the foul.
Good cut. Terrell Brandon jumping over the top of him after he got beat.
Got to make up for it at the defensive end. It's Brandon, and Garrick does make up for it. He forces a walk by Terrell Brandon.
First time tonight we've seen Terrell Brandon really out of balance. And it looked like he may not have even come off the floor there, but he didn't get the call.
Two minutes remaining. Tied in OT. 99 all. Robinson draws contact. Would have counted. It is 5 on Doherty. He and Nance each have 5. No Spur with more than 4.
Probably not a good foul on Brad Doherty's part. You would hope that he would be forcing David Robinson into help. That's where you really need to communicate with your teammates if you're Larry Nance or Hot Rod, and you're the guy that can provide the help playing as big as David Robinson plays, but you can't put him on the line. This is too easy.
David with a good solid stroke on the first of 2 free throws. Perfect on both. 101-99. Carr on Hot Rod Williams. Brandon behind the Nance pick. Illegal defense, technical foul. That's the second against the Spurs tonight. Brown says, what a time for an illegal D. Now, if the rule's in the books, it shouldn't matter what time is remaining or what the score is, but what about the timing of this illegal D?
Well, you got to make that call. At Spurs, Cleveland had moved the ball back and forth a couple of times. The Spurs just kept packing the middle of the lane, which is what you want to do defensively. It's just a matter of the officials deciding that somebody's just not close enough to their guy.
Brandon. They want Nance or Doherty. It'll be Doherty. Robinson right in his face. Carr grabs the board. Spurs ball up 2, and they'll push it ahead to Willie Anderson. Robinson right back to Willie. Wisely, he will pull it out. There was nothing developing in the lane. And Brown wants time. Got a headache. This OT's getting to him. He says, let's talk. And with 1:06 remaining, 101-99 Spurs. What do? You got a 2-point lead. You want to expand to 4. You know this Cavalier defense going to swarm all over you. Even with Nance and Doherty saddled with 5 fouls, where do you go?
I try to go inside. I try to get somebody off their feet and try to get a couple of free throws.
3-point play would really be sweet at this point, wouldn't it?
I mean, you don't have to knock this one down. If you can create some contact and get a couple of easy ones on the free throw line.
Well, so the ultimate scenario would be get somebody up, get Nance to foul out or Doherty to foul out, and get a 3-point play out of it and put the Cavaliers in a 5-point hole. But they are a very intelligent, well-coached team. That's easier said than done.
It is, and and the reason I say that it's difficult to give for the official to give you the call if the game is tied. They're not going to put you on the line usually unless it's a pretty obvious foul.
Robinson with a shot clock at 7. At 5. Williams all over him. Underneath, intended for Anderson and Ehlo. And Carr go to the deck as the shot clock goes off. And that is not how Brown drew it up.
Well, they didn't get a shot. That was the worst part of it. You've got to get a shot. And this is the problem they ran into in Denver, where they came down the court several times and did not get a shot.
In the overtime, Cleveland 1 of 6 with 2 turnovers. San Antonio 1 of 4 with 2 turnovers. And 54 seconds remaining. Williams breaks up high. Doherty screens on Carr. And it's Brandon to work on Garrick. Gets past him. Throws up an air ball to Elliott. And here comes Garrick. 3 on 2. Willie can't finish. Ehlo will put him on the line. Even when he fouls, he does the right thing. He makes sure Willie doesn't make the shot.
Well, here's Tom Garrick coming right at you. No look away pass to Willie Anderson, who tries to sneak up under that Craig Ehlo defense, and Craig draws the foul.
Getting crunch time minutes. Almost unnoticed acquisition off the Clippers roster. Willie's 21st point. His best game of the year.
The other end, Terrell Brandon got himself into the middle of the lane with a really strong move, and came out of there acting like somebody banged his arm. But the rookie's just not going to get that kind of a call.
Timeout, Cleveland. .1 seconds and a pair of huge free throws for Anderson to make it a 4-point margin. And the Cavaliers have got to have help now. The Spurs have got to do something dreadfully wrong. Like foul a guy when he's hitting a 3-pointer.
They're probably talking about that right now.
Well, how about Tom Garrick? Free agent, picked up right as training camp opened. Clippers let him go. He becomes a Spur October 2nd. And if you're a major cog, you're picked up way before October 2nd.
Well, it's just points out how the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Tom Garrick's game obviously wasn't suited to the Clippers, to the other players on the Clippers team. Here in San Antonio, given the chance that Rod Strickland's not here, it's given him an opportunity to play. He's feeling more comfortable, and he's making some good decisions on the court, both offensively and defensively. I mean, historically, the Clippers have had sort of a collective immaturity about their game, and starting from the locker room. And this is a real professional team, the Spurs. They're young, but they set high standards for each other, and I think you get caught up in that. And I think he's doing a good job. I think Larry Brown has given him a lot of encouragement, and he's playing with a lot of confidence.
Big George working up a sweat. 30.1 seconds.
Already in shape this early in the season. Big George.
In game shape. It will be Ehlo at midcourt. And he thought about a real long three. Instead, he'll go deep and get rejected by Sean Elliott. That should do it. Here's Robinson for the exclamation point. Sure why Tom Garrick decided to foul Terrell Brandon exactly then. It shouldn't matter. The Spurs should have this one put away.
Well, they had one to give.
That's why.
Play. They had one to give.
That's exactly it. And here's Doherty. 105-101. Foul count was off here. They did have one to give. 10 seconds. And the Cavaliers unable to foul with 3 seconds. Nance finally picks up his 6th. And he leaves with 11 points and 9 rebounds. There's a man that got it all started when they were down by 13 and had no semblance of a spark. He provided it. I don't recall hearing steam over the PA, but the always updated musical playlist here. And Robinson with 29 points and 11 rebounds.
It's like he's been working on his free throw rhythm since the last couple of games.
Yeah, he didn't shoot one tonight till the 4th quarter, and he is with that 5 of 6. Brandon's pointer no good. The Spurs fight from 13 down in the second half and win by 6 in overtime. How sweet it is. How painful it is. Would not want to get caught between Green and Carr. The Spurs scored 10 of the last 12 points of overtime to win this one 107-101. And the capper provided by the Admiral. We'll be back at Hemisphere Arena in a moment.
Time to rise and shine, fun seekers. Southwest Airlines Fun Fairs are back.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now. Now you really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines' new fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
Because we got a lot of things to do now. Now you really should fly. You'll have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair today.
When you've got something precious.
Enjoying all the action of Spurs basketball. Take advantage of the advertising power of Paragon. KBL TV, San Antonio.
Boy, outstanding early season game at the arena tonight as the Spurs outscore the Cavaliers 10-4 in overtime to pull out a 107-101 win. 13 down, they pull it out. Anxious moments after they went up by 6 and let Cleveland
force it into the extra period, but very cool heads prevailing for the Spurs in overtime. Would they have won this game last year? I mean, have they matured to the point where they pull one out that they wouldn't have?
Yeah, I think so. What comes into my mind as we started this game talking about one of the guys who brought the most infectious enthusiasm to compete to basketball in terms of Magic Johnson. Here's Anquan Carr sitting on the bench wearing number 32 in honor of Magic in this end of his career. And he brings that kind of enthusiasm and competitive juice to a basketball game and changes the outcome and spreads it around. And that's what we'll miss about Magic Johnson is he had such a tremendous enthusiasm for the game, and he spread it around.
And he spread a little of the magic dust to Antoine Carr tonight. People had bigger numbers. Robinson with 31, Anderson 22, but Carr got it all started. And the Spurs win it to go 4-1 on the season and 3-0 at home. It's again the final in overtime, 107-101. Senior producer and director of Spurs basketball is Robert Steinfeld. Associate producers Kurt Dykert and Mike Kikarillo. Our technical director Sean McStay. Our engineer in charge Chris Paris. And our statistician Dave Robinson. Remote facilities provided by John Crow Productions. Remember, join us 7:30 Wednesday. Our next HSE telecast as the Spurs play host to Danny Manning and the LA Clippers. Now this is Dave Barnett for Kobe Dietrich saying so long from San Antonio, where the Spurs win in OT. Exclusive presentation of Home Sports Entertainment. Tonight's San Antonio Spurs game brought to you in part by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.